All right, guys, Architecture 2 and Practicum, as I want to show you on this video how to do the sidewalks and the parking lot if you need to know how. Some of you have figured it out. I've seen some of you working with it, and it's really simple. Now, sidewalks, you've probably had some experience with putting sidewalks on your houses, but simply I'm just using the floor tool and I'm using the material. If I have it, if not, I have to make it. So I'll just use generic concrete. And let's say the sidewalks are I'm gonna duplicate this and make them 4-inch, and you can call it whatever you want to. You can call it 4-inch concrete. Okay, go in and change the thickness of it. Then the category, or the material category. Okay. And there is no, I mean, you definitely want to get a sidewalk that's at least 36 inches, kind of like a walkway or anything like that in a house. But, you know, typically you might want something a little bit wider for this, you know, commercial establishment. You'll have people walking, you know, both, you know, two different directions. You want there to be plenty of space. You don't have to, you know, customers and, you know, clients, whatever, squeezing their way onto the sidewalk. So I really just use a rectangle tool and just find a spot, however you want to make it, and just pull it out to the full extent. And let's see, you know, probably around 5 or 6 feet's good. If you want to go more than that, you're perfectly welcome to do so. Now, there's got to be a, that's about 5 foot. There's got to be a slope from the building outwards, 1/4 of an inch per foot. So if I'm about 5 feet, that's going to be 1 1/4 inch total slope. So height offset here is going to be 0. That's where it starts at the building. And then height offset at the end, at the head, at the point, is going to be 1.25 inches. Okay. And then you're done. Pretty simple. Cut us a view so we can take a look at it. And for some reason, what am I looking at? Okay, for some reason I put that on the wrong level. Let's see, level 2 should be level 1. And it looks like 2, I also, you know, that's one of the things that this always confuses me on, is when you put the slope on the sidewalk, is which end is going downwards. So I'm going to double click on that to go back into it, because it looks like it's sloping the wrong way. Click on the tail, or the arrowhead. And this, okay, I didn't put a negative in front of it. I should have put a negative 1 1/4 inch. And that would make it go down. Let's go back and look at it now. And now it is sloped downwards. Okay. Now, the asphalt for the parking lot is pretty simple too. I just use let me go back to level 1, and I'm just using the site tool, massing in site, using the topo surface. Okay, and I typically want to start out at about -6 inches around the building itself. Okay, that way it's below the foundation. And I just hit each corner of the building. And let's see, how should I do it like this? Maybe so. All right, so I got those 4 corners, and now I'm going to change and make it even more, you know, going off of a total slope. You know, I'm probably going to have about 100 foot out front or so. Just kind of figure out how much of a slope you're going to need by calculating the distance you're going to pull it out, and then 1/4 of an inch by that. Let's see, I've got a calculator around here somewhere. Let me use the one on my phone. So if I go 100 feet, which actually that should be pretty easy to do in my head, but for some reason it's not. So 100 times 0.25. Okay, so that's 25 divided by 4, because there's 4/4 of an inch, 4/4 in an inch. 6.25 inches if I go out 100 feet. So coming out about right here, approximately 100 feet. And so I'm adding that 6.25 to this figure already that I have a -6. So it's going to be a -12. Sorry. So -12 inches, and I'm going to come out here and place a couple of points. And actually, I should be on the site. That way I can see what I'm doing. There we go. So I'm at the site level now. Place point. Still at a -1 foot. Okay, and just kind of go a little bit out to the side. The back, you don't have to go as deep on, because typically there's just going to be like an alleyway back here behind the building where trucks can get back here and deliver stuff. You might even want to make this perfectly square. That is perfectly fine, because all you have to do to make it square is go to your Annotate tab. Okay, it won't let me draw a detail line right now, so I need to go ahead and finish this up first. So click that to finish it up. Then go to Annotate, Detail Line, draw a rectangle. We'll start right here. Okay, and just pull it out like so. Now I'm going to go back to the massing in sight by clicking on my topo surface and then saying Edit Surface. I'm going to drag each one of these to the corners. And there we go. So now it's all nice and straight. Okay. Also, you want to change the material, and I'm going to go ahead and delete the detail lines I drew. So let's see if we can do it from here. No, we've got to go, wait, no, we can. Right here, material by categories. You just have to click on it. You don't have to go into Edit Surface. Just click on it to highlight it. Edit Surface. And there's actually an asphalt on here. It's actually for the asphalt shingles, but it works great for the parking lots. Okay, so that's done. And now we can kind of go into our three-dimensional view and just take a look, see what it looks like. I even pull it up realistic. Okay, here we go. And you probably can't really see a slope from this angle, maybe barely see a slope. Okay, but the slope is there. It is appropriately sloped. Okay, now for parking spaces, let's go to the top here. I'm going to place a component, or no, are we? Let's see, massing in sight. Was it on massing in sight? Maybe not. Our site. Let me click on, oh, here it goes, parking components. Okay, so what I did is I took a regular parking space. You can get them at different angles. You can go in here and get them at 60, 70, 80. I just angled it myself. So I just kind of came up right here. I placed one, then I rotated. Just kind of get that angle out of it. Okay. And you can arrange these however you want. Make sure you leave plenty of space. I would say leaving about 30 feet in the front right here, because you're going to have two-way traffic. And actually, I would say 40 feet, to be honest with you. Let's do 40 feet. Yeah, I guess I cannot measure with that. So let me go to my site. Okay, so I'm at about almost 30 feet, so I probably want to back up some more. And you can even draw a line. Go to Annotate, Detail Line. Draw this out 40 feet. That way you can have two-way traffic up in the front. And then between the rows, depending on how you lay out your parking spots, you can actually just create it where there's one-way traffic going down each row. And you would need to, of course, shape the parking spots appropriately. So here, what I would do to this one to get a another parking spot in front of it is I would mirror it. Let's go to Modify, Mirror, mirror that, hit Enter, draw a line like so. Now, still got to move both of them Or actually, I just need to move this one. And you're going to do something like this. Right there. Okay, to where they're sort of overlapping each other just a tad. Just like that. And then from there, you can actually take these and I haven't tried this yet. I'm going to see if I can mirror that to make any sense out of it. Okay, that didn't work. Okay, select both of those, click the mirror tool. Okay, having some issues there, but you get the drift. You can play with it to see how you want to mirror that around. Looks like I've got some mirroring going on, but something's not working right. But anyway, just place your parking spots. And my computer's actually stuck. But just kind of fill this out a little bit. You want to leave a little space back here too, possibly two-way traffic. So if you need to stretch your asphalt a little bit further, do that so that you can get 40 feet in the back too. So you can have two-way up here, two-way back here. You only need about, 25 feet, I would say, between parking lot aisles. And that way you can have at least one-way traffic. And the way I would personally set this up, I'll let you see mine. I think I have my original setup as, let's see, how do I get back to that front screen? Well, let's just do this. Number 2, I think that's number 2 is the one I'm in now. No, here we go. So let me go to site. Okay, so I've fixed it to where actually I have two-way traffic. If I would have been put a little more thought into it, I would have fixed it where I had one-way traffic going up and down the aisles, which means all my parking spaces would have to fit to where you could drive down one certain lane to park on either side. And let me see what kind of distance I put between them. I only put about 27 feet. So that would probably be pretty close. You'd probably want, again, like I said, a little bit more distance for two-way traffic. But then again, it's not really that crucial of an issue because, typically, if it's such a small parking lot that if someone was coming to circle around this way to get into a parking spot, they would see each other and could sort of, communicate with one another about where each other is going so that they don't hit each other's car. But so that's it on parking spaces. And now, as far as the garden area, the little green areas at the very beginning, and again, like if you've been to the HEB on Stan Sluter, then you've seen these just like this. I basically did a whole nother floor type thing on this one. I did a floor. I used the floor tool and created one I called a curb. Okay, and it looks like I height offset at -5 inches. I'm not sure what that was exactly about. I guess, okay, because it is actually below the level 1 level on this building. Okay, so I did that, which it still comes out above the asphalt, even though I did it at a negative number. It comes out above the asphalt. I drew a floor, just kind of show you briefly how I did that. So let's say I'm going to draw another little garden piece. I just made a floor and I used the line tool and I drew it. Not that I'm really going to put a little garden thing here. And then I offset it, like probably 6 inches to make a curb. Okay. Then, of course, you have to go in and fix your corners. And I used a mixture of, I used some of the arc tools up here as well to get the arcs at the end. Okay, and then there's your curb. So go into 3D view. Oops, that's the wrong one. Okay, so here's the one I just drew. So I just created that curb and then I filled it with earth. Okay, and I brought the earth, I elevated the earth up a little bit, and then I just placed trees on it. Okay, so real simple. It's not hard at all. It's all of the stuff you've done before. It's nothing new. It's just a new way of applying it. Okay. So that is also what I want on your plans. You know, that front sidewalk, I want your parking lot and some parking spaces. You don't have to do the little garden pieces, the garden islands or whatever it is you want to call them. I'm sure there is an official name for those. But you don't have to do those, but it would certainly be nice. It would look really nice if you did. Okay, so that is it on those components.